This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello and welcome to The Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I'm one of your hosts, Tom.
And I'm Tim.
Tim, how are you doing this week?
No time to hear how I'm doing. I know that you have things that you need to talk about.
No,
this week.
there's breaking news as we record. Tim, this happened a few days ago. Forget it. But it's breaking news to me. Do you know the actor Burt Ward?
Of course I know Burt Ward, but I would guess 98% of our audience does not.
Yeah, so
who would?
Aww.
A couple of dopes, a couple of numbskulls. You know what? I got depressed earlier.
Okay.
It's an ongoing concern.
Earlier this decade?
Yeah. That there's... my knowledge is worth shit.
Yeah.
Everything that I know about, I take pride in everything that I know about.
Uh-huh.
It's all a bunch of useless knowledge. And then I watch this Jeopardy thing, this Tournament of Champions, or even normal Jeopardy.
Yeah, or even probably Teen Jeopardy.
Yeah, and they don't even ask questions about the episodes of Alf or Cheers spinoffs or anything like that.
Yeah, but you do this educational podcast.
That's true. As far as the sponsors know, this is an educational podcast where people listen and learn.
Tim,
you wouldn't believe how many listeners we have.
You didn't describe who Burt Ward is. You don't have to describe, just say who he is.
He's TV's Robin.
Yeah. Well, not TV's current Robin.
Robin Leach.
No, Robin Leach is dead.
You know, Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous isn't even like a cultural touchstone anymore for kids?
Yeah, I understand that. I think the last time I saw that show was when I was 10 years old. That's one of the things that I get. I never do it to people younger because there was nothing, and to this day, there's nothing that I hate more than when somebody's I can't even think of an example. Who is the guy that hosted?
That's the worst. I agree.
Who is the guy that hosted the Tonight Show before Johnny Carson?
Jack Parr
or
something. Yeah.
When somebody's
Steve Allen or some shit.
You don't know Steve Allen? You don't know Jack Parr? It's like, no, I was born 30 years after that person died or whatever. You don't kids nowadays, they don't respect the classics.
One time I was at a weekend away.
Tim, it sounds like a sex camp that you were trying to come up with.
No, because I went
family friendly euphemism for on the spot.
How dare you? I was away with my wife and her family at a lake house, but like her extended family.
Right.
And there were all these people who were older than me, right? Her parents and aunts and uncles
right.
and stuff. And we were all sitting around.
I was under the impression that you were actually a little older than your wife's father.
You know, that's not out of the ordinary. That happens, and look, we don't judge.
No, I've heard
this is come
you
one,
said
come
it
off.
was kind of awkward.
Anyway, no, these people are
that your
these
wife.
people are 30 years my senior, Tom.
Okay.
Jeepers creepers. And it came up. They were talking about the show Bosom Buddies, right? And here's the thing: these are all people that were.
I just got what that pun is.
Yeah.
Is it a pun?
Yeah.
Because they have fake bosoms in the show.
Yeah.
What is a bosom buddy?
Just dudes that dress up like women.
Is that where the phrase comes from?
I don't know. I've never seen an episode of Bosom Buddies.
Okay.
But what I do know is that it was in the early 80s.
Yeah, and it has
Tom Hanks
and friend of the show Billy Joel does the opening theme song.
Yeah, it wasn't the actual Billy Joel
wrote
recording.
it.
Yeah.
When I say did it, I mean he wrote it.
But so there were all these people who were around. Like I was at best a baby, an infant when this show was on television.
Yeah.
But they were all like, "Oh, Tom Hanks was in a TV show when he was younger." And when he was younger, because they were talking about, I don't know, something.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there at this big long table as we're
Oh, and you
dinner.
were thinking of Family Ties, probably.
No, I was like, I know it's Bosom Buddies, but
yeah.
it's weird that
that I know that.
Yeah. So like they're racking their brains. I'm like, ugh.
They're gonna be like, our relative married a closeted old man.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm afraid that they think like, what is up with this weirdo? I've talked with him all day about other things, and he's not knowledgeable about anything.
And he looks like he's in his 30s, but he has the knowledge of a man who's much older.
Yeah, and he's going to pull this sitcom from 1981, even though he claims he was born a year later.
Right.
And even if, he was a child at the time.
Right, and VCRs were not widespread yet.
No, he was before VCR technology. So eventually they got to bosom buddies, and they were like...
For the record, it wasn't before VCR technology. It was just before it was widespread.
Yeah, of course. It was very expensive.
Yeah.
That was during the VHS and beta wars.
Mm-hmm.
Man, he's
lost a lot of good men.
I was at the Museum of the Moving Image, and I saw a beta, and I was like, man, the world would have been different. That happened.
I don't know if it would have been that different.
Probably that industry would have been a little
Did anybody
different.
come up to you in the museum and say, look at this, a beta looking at a beta?
Is that the insult you're doing? To have a beta?
Yes. Anyway, you were saying.
So anyway, they finally, after 10 minutes, got to bosom buddies, and I was like, all right, that's over. Now I don't have to be dying in here, jumping out of my skin.
Right.
And then they're like, it's Tom Hanks, and who was the other guy? I think it was somebody. And in my head, I was like, somebody just say Peter Scolari. Somebody please just say it. And they're like, I don't know. I don't think he ever did anything after that. I was like, Peter Scolari did other things after Bosom Buddies. Come on, guys. Come on. And I whispered to my wife, it's Peter Scolari. And she was like, wait, and everybody,
no.
and I had to be like, and then I was outed as a guy with weird knowledge that he shouldn't have. And it was so embarrassing.
Yeah.
So I got depressed. I'm depressed about the knowledge I have. Burt Ward was Robin in the 1960s Batman.
Right,
TV.
in the 1966 Batman TV show. Well, Tim, he's back in the headlines.
Nice.
He got I don't know if he got a star on the Walk of Fame. Yeah, he got a star on the Walk of Fame.
I'm going to get a star on the Walk of Fame.
All you have to do is pay for it, apparently.
Yeah, let's raise the money. Let's do it. Let's have the ceremony. Tim and Tom.
Do
That'd
they
be
have
great.
a podcast? I guess they probably just use the radio logo, because they put a logo of a TV or a film or a radio, whatever.
They put a microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They put a microphone.
Like Jack Benny.
Yeah. Probably haven't put somebody on the Walk of Fame with a microphone in a long time.
Adam Carolla.
Did they? But no, Tim, he's a star of the stage and screen.
Yeah. A great man.
Tim, the headline.
Your dude. Joe Rogan. Did they put him on the Walk of Fame?
I don't know. He's not my dude. I like when he talks about alien stuff sometimes. ABC.
And cancel culture.
This is the headline, Tim. ABC told Batman actor Burt Ward to take pills to shrink his penis, presumably.
What pills are these?
I don't know. So basically, he's saying that the Catholic League of Decency thought that he had a very large bulge for television.
This sounds like an old man telling tales out of school.
Well,
the church didn't like how big my wiener was.
Not only that, he's speaking of the dead, because he said it was
Jesus.
No, he said that it was all him, unlike Adam West, who played
What?
Batman. He said with Adam, they put Turkish towels in his undershorts.
What a jerk.
Right? The guy's dead. It's one thing to be bragging.
Adam West must have been quite a jerk to Burt Ward.
No, they were chums. They were old chums.
I don't know. Chummy enough that you wait a year after he dies to be like, his dick wasn't that big.
My dick was bigger. Also, I remember watching that show all the time when I was a kid. I don't remember either of them having even a visible genitalia, let alone a large bulge. It was just nothing down there. It was flat.
We'll have to go back and view the tapes.
Yeah. So the studio was, they were like, oh, we have to, get in line with the Catholic League of Decency. So they sent him to a doctor who prescribed medication to, quote, shrink me up.
Now, this sounds like, and then is his thing like, and it never returned, and so I was really mad. Like, it never went back to normal.
No, he says, quote, I took them for 3 days and then decided that they can probably keep me from having children. I stopped doing that, and I just used my cape to cover it. He didn't. Robin has I guess the 66 Robin had a longer cape, but like, I don't remember him like always having his cape in front of his crotch.
Also just be like, yeah, I'm taking those pills.
Yeah, it's not working.
Yeah.
Dick's too big.
It's not on him to cover up with a cape.
I think, you know what?
Just change the pants a little bit.
He probably did tell him he was still taking them. I bet he was just like, no, I can't take these pills. But also like, this like keeps being a problem. This is like the 60s and like people would kill to be on television. And I would kill to be on television. They'll go to something more extreme.
Yeah.
They'll tell me like, you gotta get this penis whittling surgery or something.
A lot of people had that in the 60s. It makes it very sleek. Aerodynamic.
This is from page6.com,
cool.
by the way. Nikki Ghostin.
Yeah. Nikki.
Yeah. So I didn't realize he was only 20 years old. And you know, I mean, I don't know if they ever said how old Robin was supposed to be in that particular iteration of Batman.
His parents died in a motorcycle accident, right?
Burt Ward's parents?
No, Robin.
No, they died in a circus accident.
Yeah, they were riding the motorcycles. And
they were trapeze artists.
That's not the way I remember it.
And a mobster cut the trapeze lines.
Why?
Because I think the circus owed money to the mobster, and he was like, "Hey, they're not paying it up. I gotta send them a message by killing the top trapeze stars."
You should never borrow money from the mafia,
Right? Especially if you run a circus.
Mm-hmm.
If you run a circus, that's your only option. You can't go to the bank and be like,
"Why not?"
Hey, I need more money for the circus. We need to buy some new lions. The old ones died.
Why not?
If you were a bank loan officer...
The old ones were shot in the heart when they attacked the lion tamer.
When they ate him. Yeah. If you were a bank loan officer, would you give a loan to the circus?
If their financials were in order.
Tim, the circus has their own train. They can skedaddle anytime.
The thing
they can
is,
just stay on the run.
If someone has their own train and they leave, you just follow the tracks. Eventually, you'll find them.
That's true. Sooner or later, you're bound to find them.
Yeah.
Do all the train tracks in the world connect? Not the world, but the country connect?
Now, that started off as a serious question, and I think halfway through you tried to pivot and make it seem like a joke
certainly not
question.
all of them connect, but I'm wondering what percent connect. I would say 90%.
That can't be.
I mean, you can...
This is the kind of thing we're going to get emails about.
Connected through stations, at least. Can you get to any train station from any train station in America?
No? I don't think so. Maybe.
We'll
maybe in like a roundabout way.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how long it takes.
Okay. But to answer your question, no, all the train tracks in the world don't connect.
But there are more.
Wait, why was their solution? Take these pills to shrink your genitalia instead of like, we're gonna get a costume designer in here to make a slight modification to the costume.
Yeah, we're gonna loosen. You know what? The costume's a little too tight.
Yeah,
or like
we're gonna put some extra padding around there to smooth it out.
Yeah, to make everything. Which I think is what they had, because when you look at them again, there's no visible genitalia.
Yeah.
Like it looks like it's padded.
And you're looking on an HD television, Tom.
Yeah, I'm looking at the newly remastered versions.
Back then, it was like it was like a 6-inch screen.
Yeah,
it was all blurry.
Yeah, it was in color, but some people saw black and white. Yeah. Some other revelations from this article. Burt Ward never smoked, drank, or did drugs, and claims to have never been in a bar in his entire life.
That's fair.
In his entire life?
I mean, he ran afoul of the Catholic League of Decency. Maybe there he was just like, I gotta keep my Keep my nose clean here.
He says he was a straight A student at UCLA, and the dean at UCLA was upset with him when he left during his junior year to do Robin.
This guy,
because she said he should have been a nuclear physicist, that he was in the top 3% in the United States in science and math.
it amazes me that you're a smart man, Tom, and you still say nuclear all the time.
Nuclear. What do you think about that? Do you think that that's true, or again, is this a tall tale?
I just feel like this guy's coming out. How old is he now? 95?
I think he's 74.
Oh, that's not too old. But he's coming out and saying, yeah, back then my dick was too big and I was too smart to be on TV.
Yeah. It's a miracle they let me on TV at all, considering how smart I was and how big my dick was.
Scientists wanted to hook me up to machines so I could teach the computers things.
Yeah, and the deans of the top universities wanted my mind.
Yeah, and I keep my temple clean. I'm a perfect specimen.
Yeah,
too.
I've never been to a bar in my life. He said he's not bitter about not making any money from the TV show in decades, because he and his third wife Tracy devote themselves to charity. They run this is a confusing sentence to read. They run the largest giant dog rescue charity. It's like, you can just say it's the largest. You have to say it's the largest, most giant dog. I was like, oh, giant dogs?
Yeah,
like
what?
Clifford?
Yeah, like Marmaduke.
No, I mean, Clifford's a lot bigger than Marmaduke.
Clifford is, in some pictures, Clifford's
scale. Size would change all the time. It was very confusing.
How those books ever got published, it's beyond me.
He says that 15,500 dogs would be dead if it weren't for me and my wife.
15,000?
500.
500. That's a lot of dogs.
And then he says
would be dead if not for me and my wife?
Yeah.
This guy's an asshole.
But then listen to this. He claims at all times, at minimum, they have 50 dogs in their house. And these are 50 giant dogs.
This guy probably made so much money for that one season of that garbage TV show.
What? Batman?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Back then, they didn't treat these guys well. They were like, the Catholic League called, you guys start taking dick pills.
Yeah.
Dick shrinking pills.
Anti-dick pills.
And then,
you gotta take these pills and make it go back inside you.
The final claim here, he says, we make our dog food. Our food is at all the stores across America. It's called Gentle Giants, and we don't take a penny from it. We've discovered a way to double and triple the lifespan of dogs.
No, they haven't.
No, of course they haven't. Double and triple. You're telling me there are like 40-year-old dogs out there now because they eat Burt Ward's dog food? Get out of town.
That's available in every supermarket?
Not every supermarket, all stores. You can go into any store.
Burt Ward needs to be fucking taken down a notch. Somebody's got to go up to him and be like, hey, Burt Ward, you're full of beans.
Tim, we could go to the Tiffany's on Fifth Avenue today. And be like, can I have some of Burt Ward's dog food? They're like, of course, we have it in the back.
Yeah, it'll make your dog live a terrifyingly long time.
It'll make your dog outlive you. It'll also shrink your penis.
Do you want me to talk, Tom?
Yes.
Hey, this week's episode we're going to do on insomnia.
Yeah. Not like real insomnia, to be clear.
Yeah. Maybe difficulty sleeping.
Let me be clear.
I'm not a crook.
Oh, that'd be great, Tim. You should work on your Nixon.
Yeah, Nixon. That's what I was doing.
Yeah. Not like real deal insomnia. Not like
should we not call it insomnia?
The machinist. Remember, he had insomnia.
Who's the machinist?
That was Christian Bale when he got real skinny.
Oh, I had to turn that off because his body disgusted me.
Ooh, yeah, that was rough. That was some rough stuff.
I don't like seeing people's veins
Yeah.
if I don't need to. I look at my own veins sometimes.
Do you need to? I look at
in
my
the
own
shower?
veins sometimes. In the shower, I know where you have veins.
Ew, no, I mean on my arm. When I'm scrubbing my arm.
How hard do you scrub your arm that the veins pop out?
Do you not have visible veins?
Not really.
Yeah.
I'm pretty strong. I don't see them.
Strength.
Whenever
I mean,
I've
everybody has
gotten
veins.
whenever I've gotten not shots but blood drawn,
Mhm.
they're always missing my veins.
Why?
I don't know. I'm always going to inexperienced people, I think.
Yeah. Do you treat? Oh man.
What?
Do you treat like physicians' assistants the way that you treat
I don't.
service employees?
I don't treat service employees bad, and I don't treat physicians' assistants bad. The last time I went to the doctor was horrible. I'm not going back.
Why?
Everybody was just weird and bad to me.
Everybody was weird at the doctor's office.
This guy came in. This guy, like a young guy in a suit, and he was trying to be very.
The doctor?
No, a patient.
Okay.
And he was trying to be very discreet. And he's like, I was here last week, and the doctor made a referral, but when I wrote it down, I couldn't quite make out what he wrote. I was just wondering if you could talk to him and see what that referral was.
Was this also Barack Obama?
No, but then he was like, she's like, what was a doctor of what? He's like, it was a specialist. She's like,
Penisry?
What was he a specialist in? Urology? Oh, a urologist.
Yeah, that's
so,
fine.
To the whole room, though.
Who cares?
I did. I started laughing at the guy.
Because he had
an
a medical issue?
Yeah, with his genitals. So,
That's why everybody was weird at the doctor's
No, everybody
office?
was weird at the doctor because they took my blood and everything. And the nurse goes, you don't want an STD test, do you? It's like, what? No, yeah. Aren't you supposed to encourage me to do that? And she's like, And then the doctor came in and said
She
I was
hitting
fat.
on you.
She was hitting on me.
Yeah, a guy like you doesn't need an STD. You keep yourself clean.
No, I mean, you could interpret that as like, you don't need an STD test. It's been a while for you, huh?
Yeah.
You're practically an incel,
Yeah.
an involuntary celibate man.
And then the doctor told you were overweight.
The doctor told me I was fat, and he was fatter than me.
You were overweight based on benchmarks, I guess.
Yeah, my BMI. I was overweight too, and then I lost that weight.
Yeah, Tom, you're looking good these days.
Thank you.
What have you done to lose that weight?
Gotten stronger.
No, that's not it.
No, I told you I stopped drinking soda.
Oh, was that it?
I cut down on soda.
Okay.
It was pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
That helped me with my sleeping too, which we're talking about this week.
Yeah. And what are you saying? This week you wanted to do this topic because why?
Because I've been having trouble sleeping lately. Oh no. I just realized I pitched this episode to you, Tim. I've been having trouble sleeping this week. I bought a 2-liter bottle of soda a few days ago. And
I thought you were going to have soda in the house.
I haven't. And then I really wanted soda the one day, and I was like, I should buy a 2-liter bottle because it's only a little bit more than just buying like a single soda. So that I've had soda in my house this week, which is the first time in like a year I've had soda available. And I've been drinking it every opportunity I have.
So we solved it. We don't have to do the episode.
No, I mean, look, everybody has sleeping problems from now and then, or problems. Problems either falling asleep or staying asleep. That's
I got the
what I'm
problems
talking
on the
about.
back end.
Diarrhea?
No.
Sleep diarrhea? Oh, getting up.
Sleep diarrhea. No, I do, Tom. Here's my problem. I'm too dang hydrated all day.
Yeah.
And then I'm just, I must drink gallons of water every day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing it right up until I'm going to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Fall asleep, no problem. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm great at falling asleep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of the best sleepers. But then I gotta pee. And then I wake up at like 4 or 4:30.
And the mattress is soaked.
No, I'm a 37-year-old man. I wake up, But a lot of times I'm just like,
Bedwetting knows no age, Tim.
how badly do I have to go? And
That happens to me not constantly, but like if I have to pee in the middle of the night, I never get up. I never am like, well, I have to pee. I get up. It's like, no, a constant, like, can I fall back asleep and not get up?
And it's like, why can't I just reason with myself? Why can't I'm saying it out loud now?
Both of us sleep, I don't know, 10, 15 feet away from the toilet. It's not like either of us live in mansions where it's like, oh, the bathroom's all the way downstairs though.
And I don't need to get a key to anybody to get
I sleep less than 5 feet from the toilet.
You usually just pass out around the toilet, right?
I've moved my mattress into the hallway outside the bathroom just to make things easier.
Yeah, so I don't know. I just want to reason with myself. Now, I'm going to say it out loud. Just get up. If you wake up because you have to pee.
Say it out loud. What is that?
Yeah, I'm going to put it out into the world.
Okay. Have you ever successfully convinced yourself, I don't have to pee that bad. I'm going to go back to sleep and head to work?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, I do that too. And then you wake up and it's urgent.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, I can't. Nope, this is the first thing I have to do.
Yeah, and then it goes on too long.
What does? The peeing?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes, huh?
Yeah. It's just like, come on, man. Enough with this.
So you...
It's getting boring.
Hey, I'm bored in here. You talk to your penis while you're peeing?
No.
If it takes too long, come on,
talking
man.
to the universe.
I'm talking to God. Come on, man.
Why did you make this happen to me?
Why'd you make me like this? I just want to finish so I can go back to sleep.
So I don't generally have trouble falling asleep.
Do you drink a lot of water right before you go to bed?
I'm just drinking water constantly all day.
Yeah, but you're getting rid of it constantly, right? You're not just saving it all up for the end of the day.
Yeah, but it's not like I'm drinking it and then expelling it 5 minutes later.
If I have even like a sip of water before I go to bed, I then will have to pee in the middle of the night. It's horrible. Do you have a humidifier in your room?
I do.
Yeah, you use it a lot?
Occasionally. It's not for me.
You ever think about using a dehumidifier and then maybe you won't have to pee in the middle of the night?
Yes, I have thought about that. Turns out
just dry that,
science just doesn't
dry that place
out.
Wake up like... But then you don't have to...
Your skin's all scratched. No, I'm going to wake up scratching.
Yeah. You ever wake up and your tongue's stuck to the roof of your mouth?
All the time.
Yeah. That stinks, huh?
Does that happen to you?
Sometimes
You have a weird lifestyle that I can't wrap my head around.
I got to move my bed. My headboard's too close to the furnace. Not furnace.
You sleep in the basement.
No, I've already made it clear. I sleep close to the bathroom. No, it's too close to the heater or whatever. And like my headboard, I'm amazed this thing hasn't caught on fire yet. Because sometimes I'll lie in bed. I'm like, I don't feel well. And then I'll touch the headboard and it's like too hot to touch. And that's the headboard. Not even
the headboard of your bed is too hot to touch?
Yeah.
You should move your bed.
I know, but there's not really many places to move it to except for the bathroom. No heating element.
Waterbed, baby.
Boil in my sleep? No, thank you.
What?
If I have
the heater's not there anymore.
If I have a waterbed next to the heater, Tim, it's going to boil my waterbed.
No, waterbed in the bathroom. You make one out of the bathtub.
Oh, the bathtub.
You just put a sheet over it.
That's not how a waterbed works. Have you ever slept in a waterbed?
Yeah.
When? Where was I? Why didn't you ask me?
I was on tour with a band.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's one of these stories.
No, it was one of those situations where we weren't a very popular band.
Uh-huh.
So we had to do that.
So we had to sleep on waterbeds.
So we had to be like from the stage like, hey, anybody have a place where we could crash tonight?
Yeah.
So we're always staying at like weirdos' houses.
Yeah.
And
because I've been at shows where the band said that and it's like, these are the last people I'd like in my home.
Exactly. But
unless you have just like a weird home or something where you're like, yeah, all right, this will make my weird home weirder.
Yeah, I slept on a waterbed. I think it was a twin-size waterbed. Which,
They make those?
yeah, I didn't know that existed.
What's the point?
Yeah, I don't know.
Huh.
I slept on it, and it was the first or second night of tour, and I think it was like a 3-week tour.
Yeah.
Messed up my entire neck and back for the rest of the tour.
Yeah, you don't hear much about waterbeds anymore.
No,
right?
too sexy.
I mean, are they
We're too
sexy?
prudish
I guess
now.
they're pretty sexy. I guess like the water sloshing around, maybe.
But like what?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because if
I'd like to sleep in a pool
on a
one
raft.
Of, yeah.
Yeah,
On one of
I've
those
done
chairs
that. Yeah.
has like the drink
yeah, a
koozies
little
on it.
drink
Yeah.
cup. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's different though.
I'd like to sleep that way every night.
I could see a waterbed working if it's an inflatable mattress on top of a small pool in your bedroom.
Yeah.
That would be nice, I think.
Yeah, try that.
Yeah. Me, you just sleep on an inflatable mattress, I guess. You just put an inflatable mattress in the bathroom.
That's what I said. Waterbed.
Tim, have you ever taken a sleeping aid?
Not specifically.
What do you mean, not specifically? You've taken things that have made you fall asleep, but you haven't.
I've taken NyQuil before.
Uh-huh.
About 50% of the time, it has the opposite effect.
50% of the time it's Dayquil.
No, 50% of the time, it's blue. It's dark blue.
Uh-huh.
It's NyQuil. I'm sure of it.
Right. It could be mouthwash.
That would still put me to sleep. I know from experience. Remember that mouthwash that turned people's teeth like black? It was like
No.
Colgate like came out with it.
What?
Yeah. And it wasn't even an April Fool's prank.
It might have been a dream you had.
No, it was like 2007, 2008. That's what you said about my claim that they downloaded information off a cat's brain last week. And then lo and behold, somebody posted a video of a cat watching Indiana Jones. And then we hooked up electrodes to the cat, and we could see Indiana Jones in the cat's brain.
Tim, saying we hooked up is incredibly misleading. You had nothing to do with this
The
experiment.
humans.
The humans.
Us.
They hooked up
Humanity.
They didn't download it from his brain. It was they got that while the cat was watching it.
Yeah, okay. So they
So it was
didn't
like-
they could just take a screenshot.
What? You don't understand how brains work or computers.
Yeah, okay. Fair.
Yeah. It was while the cat
True statement.
while the cat was watching it, they basically like you know how like you can not anymore I guess, but back in the day you could like steal cable by putting like a splitter on
Yeah.
a cable and then running it.
No,
into
they
two
took it out of the
TVs.
cat's brain.
No, that's what they did. They like ran a splitter from the optic nerve basically. And we're like, "Oh, here's the way it's perceiving light." And we showed it for some reason a black and white version of Indiana Jones on a little cat-sized TV too, which is kind of nice.
Cute, yeah. Anyway, so that proves I was right. What were we saying?
Why did they show him watching a movie? Why didn't they be like, we just let him run around or whatever? Or, you know, we went in front of him and waved. Why would it have to be a motion picture that they showed him?
So you can see the one-to-one, like...
But if
field of vision.
If
right?
they had somebody like go and wave in front of them, I feel like they could set up a camera near the cat and you'd be able to
Why
say,
not just show
okay,
them
from
Indiana
those
Jones?
2 dimensions, because you're going to run into copyright problems. That's probably why this footage has been hard to find up until now.
It's Harrison Ford is like, I'll be damned if you're not going to pay me for my likeness.
Yeah, get me out of that cat's brain.
Was I mistaken, or did they zoom in on Indiana Jones's face at the end and show that the cat was kind of seeing it as a cat's face? They were like, "Oh, it had
you're
feline."
mistaken.
No,
What, Tim?
the
now
way the
you-
cat
oh,
saw it, is
Tim,
he thought
no.
cat thought Indiana Jones was a fellow cat. Watch the
That
video.
is not
I
what
implore
the cat
you.
thought.
I implore you to watch the video. You didn't even watch the video. You come here
I
and you
did
mock
watch
me.
the video. I don't remember at the end it zooming in and showing that the cat saw Indiana Jones as a cat because he's a cat.
Well,
and now you're telling me that Colgate promoted a mouthwash that turned your teeth black in the late 2000s.
yeah.
Or the late aughts.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were talking about sleeping aids.
Yeah.
And you said you've taken NyQuil. Have you ever taken melatonin? I feel like you've probably taken melatonin.
No, I'm not a melatonin guy.
Really?
I don't have trouble falling asleep generally.
Yeah, me neither.
Here's the thing.
Except for lately because soda.
Here's the thing. I never did. I think we've broken our brains with screens and constant stimulus.
Yeah.
So like there have been times when I've had trouble, but you know what I went with? CBD oil.
It's illegal.
No, it's not.
Drugs, Tim.
They put it in everything.
Yeah. I walked by a place that had
Drugs. I love drugs.
Tonight. We're in Williamsburg. I walked by a place that now sells CBD flower. You know what that is?
No.
It's not
Just weed?
Yeah, it's just weed, but it's CBD only weed. And that's going to wind up getting everybody into trouble, I feel like. Because how are the cops going to know what's what?
Yeah, the cops don't care.
Also, I feel like when I was walking by this like weird smoke shop that it was like, we're selling CBD flower, wink, wink. They're like, hey, do you have any extra strong CBD flower? And they'd be like, yeah, over here. And then they take you into the drug den.
You got to inject it to make it.
Whoa. Yeah.
Cook it up. Toothpaste giant Crest is on the defensive
Crest did it.
after consumer complaints that one of its popular mouthwashes causes teeth to turn brown.
Oh, so they didn't do it on purpose. Also, brown is worse than black.
Yeah, hundreds of angry consumers have taken to the internet and message boards claiming that the product also stained their teeth, leaving brown stains in between individual teeth. What, brown like poop, Tom?
Well, yeah, brown. When you hear about a brown stain, you generally think of skid marks.
Yeah. Well, 2 weeks in a row, vindicated.
Wow. You said Colgate and it turned teeth black, and you implied that
And it was Crest. Oh, I'm sorry. Crest and Colgate are so different.
It was Crest and it turned teeth brown. And you also seem to imply that this was like the way it was marketed. Like, buy our new mouthwash that turns teeth black.
Look, Tom, here's the thing. Just because you misunderstand something doesn't mean that everybody else is stupid.
Doesn't Crest test things? How'd they not know it would turn people's teeth brown?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Crest, you know what? They're so
easy,
popular.
Tim. They might be a future sponsor.
They're so popular and they're so successful that they're just like, we don't even care. Yeah. Fucking let them say it.
We're
turns their
going to
teeth
come
brown.
up with a new version.
It still says Crest on it. These idiots will buy it.
I've taken CBD stuff once in a while to fall asleep, and it does work pretty well. I'll give it. Actually, I'll say this: CBD gives me definitely the best sleep.
Gives me the heebie-jeebies.
CBDBs. My problem with actually like melatonin's like not strong. Melatonin I think is better to like keep you asleep if you are the kind of person that like wakes up a lot.
Fake.
Yeah, it seems like a little fake, right?
Yeah.
But it's something your body makes. But then also it's like, well, where are they getting this from? Other bodies?
Cadavers, maybe. Dead bodies.
It's too cheap to get it from cadavers. You're getting anything from cadavers, it's expensive.
Is that true? There's so many dead bodies.
Not that are
Anyone
available
who's ever
to
lived
the
has
public.
died, except for a few billion.
What? Oh, currently.
Yeah.
Thought you were trying to claim there's billions of vampires out there, and that's an unsettling thought.
Who knows? I don't go out at night.
It's nighttime right now, and you're out.
I'm in. We're in a
right,
studio.
and you have been very careful to not invite anyone into this studio since we've been here.
I've never invited
a bunch of
anybody
people
into any
have
place.
floated up to the window and tapped and said, "Invite me in." And to your credit, every time you said no.
Not because I'm afraid they're vampires. Just general social
Yeah, you're
anxiety.
like, oh, it's not my place.
Yeah. I don't want to have to make small talk.
Yeah.
Vampire small talk sucks. I learned from reading Interview with the Vampire.
Yeah, CBD does a good job making. So I was going to say melatonin. I think the times I've taken it has kept me asleep, has kept me from waking up, which is kind of a separate problem from falling asleep. And luckily I haven't had this often where like you wake up multiple times a night. Usually if I get that, it's because of anxiety. It's because I'm like worried about something and thinking about it a lot.
Worried about everything all the time.
Right.
That's what keeps me up all night.
So yeah, CBD is the best, but I've taken NyQuil and like Benadryl and things like that.
You take that
Tylenol,
kind of stuff?
No, Tylenol PM. Well, no. What I was going to say is I've taken those things in the past and I've always regretted it the next day because it does knock me out. But then I wake up the next day and I guess maybe it doesn't put you into like REM sleep or something. So it's like you were out for like 8 hours, but you wake up feeling still exhausted and like hazy and in a fog. I've never taken Ambien, which is... I assume, well, probably nowadays, probably not the strongest thing you can get.
No.
But one of the
People
stronger,
always
you
try
need
to
a
give
prescription.
Me Ambien or
what, at nightclubs?
No, when I get on a plane, because I used to be a real nervous flyer.
Yeah, nervous Nelly.
Well, sometimes things happen on planes. I'm not sure if you keep up with the news, Tom. And they try to give me Ambien or what's the other one?
You've told me that you've been prescribed Xanax on planes, but that's just anxiety. Won't necessarily put you to sleep, but probably will make sleep pretty easy.
I haven't actually been prescribed that. People have given it to me.
Oh.
Be like, here's my thing.
I was under the assumption those were doctors.
No. Illegal drug dealers, Tom. Scumbags. Wow. But
it's weird that you have a close enough relationship with them, though, that they just give you free drugs.
Yeah, and I'm afraid that... Number one, I'm afraid to eat a peanut butter sandwich on an airplane in case I've developed an allergy to peanuts since the last time I had peanuts.
That doesn't happen late into your 30s.
Sometimes it does. You can develop allergies.
Also, how often does this come up as how often did they come around giving out peanut butter sandwiches?
I just wouldn't pack one for myself.
Yeah.
Sometimes I pack peanut butter sandwiches to go around with. Have it in my bag.
When and where?
If I'm going out for the day.
When and where? Tell me the last time you packed a peanut butter sandwich for yourself.
Guess what? This past Saturday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Dick.
Why didn't you put jelly in there?
Because I didn't want it to get all soggy. It's going to be like an emergency kind of, you know, if I was going out for the whole day, I was busy, At some point, if I just needed to get a quick burst of energy, I'm not going to go buy a Snickers bar.
Well, they keep you satisfied, though.
That's true.
This episode is brought to you by Snickers.
I forget what I was talking about. Oh, so anyway, I'm afraid that if I take a Xanax on a plane, I'll die.
Probably not, but you'll.
I don't want to have to take a Xanax to check on land,
right?
To see if I'm allergic to it, so I can.
I think it's
take
very
it in the sky.
rare that you could be allergic to it, especially if you don't have other allergies.
How do you know what allergies I have?
Because I've traveled with you extensively.
Where?
To Europe.
What's Europe?
Europe and the United States.
Yeah. This show of ours has brought us from sea to shining sea, right?
What were old time sleeping pills? Like 50 sleeping pills. What were those? That was just like drugs, right?
I thought it was dust.
Dust?
Yeah, they captured a bunch of dust.
What? Do you want to solve a problem, maybe?
No, not yet.
You want to talk about putting dust into pills?
Where were you going with that?
No, I was going with that where I think like back in the 50s, it was like any sleeping pills. It was just like, oh, this is like opium.
Oh, I thought you were saying like
opium in
they
a
just
pill
like
form.
would sweep anything into it and just give you some stuff and be like, hey, this would help. We don't know about.
Oh
we
no,
don't know
I
about
think in the
stuff.
50s, like any pill, I think the problem based on pop culture, again, I was not alive in the 50s. I don't know. But the impression I got was like in the 50s, if you got any kind of pill for anything, the problem was that it worked too well.
Yeah,
That
it was like
just,
heroin.
Yeah, there was just
Okay.
something incredibly strong.
Yeah, probably not dust. Probably heroin.
And I think probably because back then they didn't have as many pills as we have nowadays. It's like we got, you go to the drugstore, the chemist, and they're like, all right, first things first, would you like an egg cream?
What's an egg cream?
It's eggs with seltzer, I think.
Great.
And they're like, or we can have the soda jerk, make you something else.
You take a lot of medicine, right, Tom?
I don't take a lot of medicine.
Last time we went to London.
When I get sick, I'll clean out.
Have you ever taken ZQuil?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
See, I'm afraid
Wait,
that
what is ZQuil?
It's NyQuil without the
without the medicine, it's
Yeah.
just the sleep stuff. I don't think so, but maybe. But I took like a Tylenol PM without the Tylenol, which might be the same thing.
Yeah, that all that stuff. I don't. Here's the thing: whenever I've had trouble sleeping, Sleepy Time tea really does the trick.
Yeah.
Put some honey in there. You ever have apple cider vinegar before bed?
No, I'm not a hippie.
Yeah, you gotta buy this weird hippie brand stuff. You know that Bragg brand stuff?
No, I don't know that Bragg brand.
Who knows what I'm talking about? Marika knows what I'm talking about. It's this old codger hippie, and you buy this apple cider vinegar that has all this stuff floating in it.
Oh,
You know what that's called? The mother.
what?
And you
no.
you shake it up. You put about 2 tablespoons in a cup of hot water. That'll put you to sleep. They also make nutritional yeast.
That
They're
guy,
really good on popcorn. Real
I've had
cheesy, too.
nutritional yeast.
Yeah.
That's good. It tastes cheesy, but it's not cheese.
Exactly.
That guy's probably bathing in the apple cider vinegar.
There are a lot of benefits that you can get from apple cider vinegar.
Like what?
I got this book about the benefits of apple cider vinegar and about how it could like cure every ailment.
Right.
And the whole thing was like, it was like, this is the ailment. Here's how you can stop it. 2 tables of apple cider vinegar.
2 tables.
2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar in hot water. Take that before bed. And it said
Were
it
the
like
ailments like chronic diseases? Like,
diabetes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Chronic diseases or diagnosis that are death sentences, and it's like, nah, just 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar.
But this whole book could have just been reduced to 1 page, which was just, put 2 tablespoons into hot water and drink that, and here's all the ailments that it will cure.
I wasn't aware that was like a sleeping aid.
It does everything. It's also
Well,
something
then what
that
if
like
you
gives
don't
you
wanna
energy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what if you don't want to fall asleep?
No, that's why they say take it before bed.
Right. What if you don't want to fall asleep? though?
When you're going to bed?
No, when you're taking it for energy.
No, you don't really take it for energy. That was a joke.
Well, what if you're taking it just to be a normal hippie?
What do you mean to be a normal? Because you like the taste of the mother?
Because I hate that.
You should see it. It's you
why
gotta shake
is
it up and then they
called
go
that?
through. Why is anything called anything, man?
No, things are called things. A screwdriver drives screws. That's why it's called a screwdriver. The fact that the pulp in apple cider vinegar is called the mother does not make sense.
It does.
Telling you, this guy's got his mom floating in a vat of apple cider vinegar, slowly decomposing.
He sells so much of this stuff that would have
no
be
way.
gone by now.
Well, maybe he's killing other mothers out there, putting them in the vats.
Now that I'd believe. What is the mother in apple cider vinegar? They ask.
Who asked?
It's the bacteria.
Bacteria?
It's the catalyst that gives rise to the vinegar.
Oh.
So it's the mother of the vinegar.
So when you drink it, it's making more vinegar inside you.
Yeah.
That way you smell that way?
Mm-hmm. My blood is like 2/3 vinegar right now. It's delicious.
Vinegar is not delicious.
This is why you can see it. You can see it flowing through my veins. You wanna?
I can't see it, but I can smell it through your veins, which is
well, that's also
deeply
my breath.
unsettling. Yeah.
Do you want to solve a problem?
Now
wait, hold on.
What?
What other things do you do?
Actually, I have two other things. Sleep mask. You ever use a sleep mask?
No.
Because somebody might come in and kill you, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Same thing. People put in earplugs to sleep.
Oh, were you out of your mind?
Yeah. Oh, I'm just going to dull all my senses and just be a fucking waiting victim.
Yeah, have some psychopath who's going to giggle to himself before he slits my throat. And that giggle might be my only chance to save myself. Yeah. But now I'm not even going to hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no to earplugs or eye masks.
Right.
I'll wear I was going to say I'll wear an eye mask on a plane, but what if they come around with snacks?
It's fair.
You know?
I'm with you.
And then I'm going to miss out.
If they come around with snacks, they don't fucking wake me up. We should have a solution for this.
Have you ever seen, there's like a thing of a woman online, and she's got
internet?
Yeah, she's got like a whole apparatus on her head. She's got like sleep mask, earplugs, and then like a neck brace.
Uh-huh.
But on the neck brace is a like a name tag laminated clip that it's nicely printed out that says, "Please wake me for snacks."
Oh.
And she just puts that on the neck brace.
Nice.
And they wake her, presumably they wake her for snacks.
Nice. I would be afraid to wake a person with that getup.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm
like,
gonna
what are you?
I was in the deepest sleep of my life.
Pretzels, please.
Yeah, I would change that to be like, just please give me a snack.
Well, you have a choice.
Dealer's choice.
You just put a name tag on your thing. Dealer's choice.
I've never regretted a choice in airline snacks. Like, I'm fine with whatever they give me. I like airline food. It's delicious. It's very salty.
Don't solve a problem?
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Tim and Tom Solve Your Problems. I'm Tim.
I'm Tom.
We're going to solve a problem. If you have a problem you'd like us to solve, email us at thecompleteguidetoeverything@gmail.com.
Yeah, but if you want us to solve it right now, it's too late.
This one comes from a lady named Amy.
Okay.
The subject line.
That was a very long pause.
Yeah. Did you hear that I had
No, I thought
my stomach made a noise.
I thought time had froze.
Yeah, no, I was waiting for my stomach noise to stop.
Okay.
So I could edit it out.
Very professional.
Has the B word.
I don't know why we mic your stomach. Honestly, it causes more problems than it solves.
I usually wind up just muting it.
Oh.
But I have to go through in the edits a few times. The lesbian, the B word, and the wardrobe.
But?
Yeah. Dear Tim and Tom, longtime listener, but the first time I have a problem for you to solve. After being away for a long weekend, I returned to have my housemate, Lily, tell me that we needed to swap rooms. I have the larger bedroom as the senior housemate.
Nice.
Parenthetical, moved in earlier. So you can just start calling yourself the senior housemate.
Yeah. Well, I think she was just trying to be clear. It's not that she's, over 65.
Yeah. With a view of the garden and a notably a built-in wardrobe. That's a closet.
Yeah.
So the reason Lily gave for needing to exchange...
She paints a beautiful picture of this bedroom.
Yeah. The reason Lily gave for needing to exchange rooms was that over the weekend, following flirting and a drunken game of hide and seek, she and her girlfriend lost their sapphic virginities in my wardrobe.
What does that mean?
What? Virginity?
No, sapphic virginity.
Pertaining to lesbianism.
Oh, okay.
My own girlfriend
Mm-hmm.
thinks this demand is ridiculous and is prepared to go and have sex in Lily's room to even the balance.
Well, no, that's just going to convince her even more.
Lily seems very upset by my refusal and wants to convene a house meeting with our 2 other housemates. Gay men, not a couple, but also named Tim and Tom, coincidentally, and, quote, sort this out. I feel that this is an open and closed shut case, but I wanted to put it to the finest legal minds of the podcasting world. Because of this, the room is apparently now very special to them, and she thinks she should be allowed to move in. I don't think that fucking in a room suddenly denotes ownership. Also, Lily's girlfriend is a notorious, quote, player on the scene, so she certainly did not have her first time in my wardrobe, but I don't know about Lily, and it hardly seems polite to ask.
Mm-hmm.
I leave it to you and your acute sense of justice. Am I being some kind of callous, aromantic B-word? Love and hugs from a gal and her desecrated wardrobe, Amy.
Wait, they did it in the wardrobe?
Yeah.
Why? Oh, it's hide and seek.
Hide and seek.
Yeah. A few things. First, I feel like this is a setup so that whatever we say, Amy can go to Lily, right? Am I getting the names right?
Amy wrote the letter, Lily.
Yeah. Amy can go to Lily and be like, well, I asked Tim and Tom and they said this, which is pretty
You're
ingenious.
overruled, yeah.
And they said you were acting like a real asshole and you should get a life. She'd be like, they said that? She's like, I swear to God, that's what Tim and Tom said. I don't lie.
We were roommates, Tom.
Yeah.
And when we moved in to a 4-bedroom
Yes.
apartment.
Similar to this, it sounds like.
Yeah. And you drew first dibs.
Yeah, we did.
For
We
room.
drew straws.
If you left for the weekend
Yeah.
and came back and I was like, yo, I had sex in your closet, I want that room.
I'd be like,
Like, you'd just be like, what the hell? No,
I'd
that
be like,
you should.
no.
What were you doing in my room?
yeah, I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that second part because that's completely irrelevant. And we're
But
going to
also, like-
focus on the first part. What the hell were you doing having sex in my room?
Yeah, but then if I was like, hide and seek, man, then
Yeah.
you'd have to be like, okay, you can
All right.
hide in
All
there.
right, bro. Yeah, I guess. I guess, yeah, that's different.
This is yeah. This is an open and closed shut case, as Amy mentioned.
Yeah, there's.
I mean, you should go have sex with your girlfriend in Lily's room.
No, because if they do that, then Lily's going to be like, well, now my room's special for you, so we should swap.
But you should be like, then they could be like, it's not special for us.
I mean, the actual solution to this problem is for her to say, well, I lost my virginity to my girlfriend in this bedroom. That's why I chose it. in the
No,
first place.
you know what? That's accepting Lily's absurd premise.
Yeah, but it would squash the problem. It would stop everything.
Yeah, but then Lily is going to continue living her life by these insane rules.
That's true.
And
I
then,
mean,
and
honestly,
then Amy's just going to have to go along with it?
What she should do is say,
Get the fuck out of my room.
no, I was going to say, as the senior housemate, get the fuck out of this apartment.
Yeah.
You had sex in my room?
I have the support of Tim and Tom on this.
Yeah, I already talked to Tim and Tom, and they're in 100% agreement on this. Don't ask them about it. Or if you want to ask them about it, you're going to have to email them at thecompleteguidetoeverything@gmail.com. I know it's confusing, but they're very non-confrontational. They don't want to hear it.
Look, if Tim and Tom don't agree with Amy, Then get rid of them too. Clean house. Amy, you're the senior housemate, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, start
Act
acting like it.
Yeah.
I was going to say two things. Bringing Tim and Tom into this, not me and you, these other Tim and Toms, these imposters. Bringing them into it, if I were either of them, I'd be like, I have no stake in this. I live in a different room altogether. But I also feel like if they're at least somewhat normal, they'll of course side with you and be like, no, she shouldn't have had sex in your room in the first place. And that certainly is not a reason to swap it. She could also offer, well, look, if we swap rooms, then all of a sudden this isn't a special place. This is the same old place where, you're doing your day-to-day thing. Mm-hmm. How about as a compromise, every 6 months you get to have sex in my room?
Why would she see that?
As a compromise.
That is.
I mean, I would
Why
not.
Does she need to compromise?
I wouldn't offer that. I would kick her out of the apartment completely.
Don't kick her out. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Tim, if you
what is she gonna do?
Sex
Seize
in my
the room?
bedroom, I would have done everything I could to kick you out of that apartment.
Well, guess what, Tom?
I don't know why you would have.
Yeah.
It
was a game of hide and seek. It was sexy hide and seek.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mainly I just read that one because I'm angry that
also,
that's even an issue.
Look, I don't want to get into logistics here, but how far could things have gotten in a closet?
You don't know how big. It could be a walk-in closet.
Yeah, she did say it was a wardrobe.
Yeah. I don't know what a wardrobe is.
See, I'm thinking of a wardrobe like you buy at IKEA where like it's not even big enough to stand in.
Right.
So I'm just thinking like not that much could really happen in there. It couldn't have been that special. But you're right. If it was like a walk-in closet, then it's like, oh, sky's the limit as to what could have happened in there.
Yeah. Put mouse traps in there.
That goes without saying.
Yeah. Step one, put mouse traps or the glue traps.
Yeah. Or both.
Yeah.
Why not cover all your bases?
Snap them up and stick them to the floor. And then when you get home, and then the two of them are nude in there.
Please let us go.
All right. I think
We're
it's solved.
sorry. Yeah. I think it is solved. Hey, Tim, thanks a lot for helping me out on that one. If you like the show, you can find out more at tcgt.com. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/complete guide. Follow us on Twitter at complete guide. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Tom Reynolds.
Follow me at your pal.
If you have a problem you'd like us to solve, email us at thecompleteguideeverything@gmail.com, and hey, maybe we'll solve it. And if you want to support the show, support our sponsors. Also check out tcgt.com/Amazon for our Amazon page and patreon.com/complete guide for Books the Podcast. This week, a whole new book, baby. It's a whole new ball of book.
A whole new book.
Yeah. And the book is Holes by Shia LaBeouf. Tim's reading it, and then I'm going to watch the movie he made about it.
That I made about it?
No, that Shia LaBeouf made about it.
I'd like to make Holes the movie.
They already made it with Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, but what about with me instead?
I mean, it's like
I'd play the warden.
A young teen. Well, I don't know anything about this book. And if you don't know anything about it, why not go to patreon.com/complete guide? Save yourself a few bucks on the book by signing up to our Patreon. New episodes every week, and you get the back catalog too. Tim, how do you think you're going to sleep tonight after all this?
I always sleep
like
fine.
a baby?
Yeah.
You think you're going to get up to pee in the middle of the night? You've had a beer. You've had a couple of beers.
I feel it's 8 p.m. right now.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if I don't drink anything after 10 p.m., I'll be fine.
Water or anything?
Anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
What time do you go to bed?
Generally around 10:30, 11. What time do you go to bed?
I mean, that's another problem.
You're up till 4 a.m. watching Joe Rogan videos on YouTube.
Not up till 4 a.m. And I don't watch Joe Rogan. It's just occasionally has somebody talking about the occult, and then I'm interested.
All right.
Oh, a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about the Mothman, and a listener reached out, and he was the freaking guy who made the thing that I was watching, the documentary. I got a bunch of stuff wrong.
No.
It's true, but it was the craziest because he added me on Twitter and was like, hey, as like somebody that knows this stuff, like you got a lot of stuff wrong. And I like looked at him. I'm like, this is the guy that made the documentary that I was watching, and then completely misquoted. Seth Breedslove is his name, or at least
Great.
that's his.
Say more lunatics names on our show.
That's it. No, this guy, I'm telling you, go on on Amazon Prime. They got a bunch of his documentaries: Boggy Creek Monster, The Mothman of Point Pleasant, The Bray Road Beast. And then the one I watch, which Terror of the Skies, something like that. They're on Amazon Prime. They're 1,000 times better production wise than most of the other weird documentaries on Amazon. I thoroughly enjoy them.
See you next week.
That was a HeadGum podcast.